want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up? Welcome into Pregaming here on Sports Money. Monday to Friday, you know how we roll. We're here to kick the bookies right in the face and take that cash and put it in our bankrolls. It's new camera day. Told you we'd get this new camera rolling out here. Got to figure out this greenish hue. Probably has to do with graphics cards and all that other stuff that I am just not good with. But tell you what I'm good with tonight's card. It's a smaller slate, which means we get to work, and that's where we do our damage. And it's Friday. So TGIFF to everybody. We made it. We are at the weekend. What a weekend it's going to be, man. We've got huge NFL games on deck here. Lots of fun to see these games unfold. And then, of course, the big Saturday live stream. Boy, they're jockeying around that MMA right now. We've got a cancellation in the Moicano battle because Moicano takes over for Sarukian, who says he had a back injury, but that looked like a hell of a cauliflower ear if I've ever seen one. So it's going to be interesting to see how this fight card they're still thinking, is there going to be an opportunity? I don't know what's going to happen out there, but I know we're going to be there. We're going to be firing away, cashing them tickets as we do. And speaking of the UFC, you guys know now we've got some videos out there, content for you guys to get ready. We've got ourselves First Strike, 4 fights, all dogs. Check it out. It's about a 15-20 minute video. Then we got the VB MMA Ramon Scott show with Dagestani Poppy. Go check that out. They've got 3 fights they've broken down as well. And then we'll figure out the rest of it when it comes to Saturday. We'll share it with you guys. We're all here to make that money together, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Might even do something tonight on the video front. Not sure. We won't stop. Appreciate you, says those hockey picks last night. Man, am up. Yeah, listen, you guys. Hockey is our cash cow. It is. And sometimes we need that cash cow because we take it on the chin in other spots. Like the NBA was doing us dirty this week as well. So, net yesterday. What was yesterday? The 16th. Let me get this set up for the 16th. And there we go. Just based on a $100 play, we won $7.20 yesterday. So, hey, we're back in the black, I guess. We're not going to celebrate. We're going to move forward, but it was literally a 500 day. Flyers, get her done, plus 120. This is our time for the NHL right now, you guys. Fired up for this hockey season, and we're there. We're getting to that second half of the season, and this is where the data, the trends, everything starts to show itself. And we cashed that Flyers, Islanders 5-3. We cashed the under in that Calgary game. Remember, 1-24 is now 1-25 to the under in that Calgary St. Louis spot. Sadly, though, I tried to get cute and double up with a Calgary Flames play. They got busted up, but we still cashed. And then the under 6 in Montreal and Dallas. 3-1 final. That was an easy casher for us. I think we had one more. Oh, I know what it was. We lost on the late night spot there. The Kings and the Canucks 5-1 on an under 5.5, and it was juicy. I guess the takeaway there is probably should have taken the over. Minus 140. Probably should just go the other way. But hey, on a positive note, look, I guess it's not very positive, but what did I learn from the early goings? Stuff in that Delaware first half play in there was my fault. We won't do that again. Those early spots, man, I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you who I like. I'll tell you who I'm on right now. We're not going to go official to try to cram it in there because it's not fair to everybody else, but I like the zips. And I like laying the 2.5. I laid a 3-pack, but nonetheless, it's afternoon. It's that early action. I just don't like it. I don't like the rush to go out there and make it happen. Now, Hofstra. Gina from Hofstra. Under 125.5. That cashed for us. That was good money. We got it by the hook. It was 125, and we had 125.5. So we'll laugh. We'll take it. The Pistons pissed on us. Cade Cunningham's under 9.5 assists at even money cash, but the Detroit spot did not. Akron Zips, Damon. Akron Zips. The Mac Akron spot. Just a little lean for you guys there because it's the early spot. So anyhow, Cavaliers got busted up. It was ugly. It wasn't even close. It was over in the first 5 minutes of the game. Plus 2.5. We could only move on. Could only move on from that. So the NBA continues to be a fickle little mistress. But we did cash to close out the night with the plus 157. We had the Clippers and the under. I don't know if it's just the Clippers. I mean, shit, you see the points? They're just busting teams up. They're shutting them down right now, them Clips. We were probably a month too early on the Clippers because they're going to be hammer on spots going forward. But that was a nice little 1.5 units. And then, look, college basketball. I mentioned the Hofstra, Gina from Hofstra. Also, we took the L. UV, Utah, Texas Arlington under 145.5 goes to overtime, and we get busted up. So, yeah. Damon Waring says in that we're undefeated at home. They are. They are. They sure are. But look, hey, that's it. We're going to put our best foot forward today to keep her rolling out there. I mean, look, again, it wasn't a losing day. It was a winning day in the absolute sense of it being a positive day, but we're not going to celebrate that. It's nothing to celebrate. We got to move back at it, though. We got to get this thing going. We've got ourselves a big card despite a small NHL slate. We're going to take action in both spots. I've got a parlay. We're going to put an NHL parlay together here. We're going to go with the Penguins and Sabres. We're going to go with Vegas and Carolina. I see a lot of people on Vegas. Whole lot of Vegas. You know they're on a losing streak. Just saying. Just saying. Then we're going to get into the NBA. Boy, what do we got in the NBA? We got a same game parlay. How about that? We're going to go with the same game parlay in the Hornets and the Bulls. We're going to cover the Nuggets and the Heat. We're going to go OKC, Thunder, Dallas, second leg of a back-to-back after busting up Cleveland in the fast turnaround revenge spot from that game last night against the Cavaliers. We got the Nets and the Lakers. Close off the NBA late night cap. We got two plays in college basketball. We'll take a little battle here between Indiana and Ohio State. We'll wrap her up with DePaul and Georgetown. Bo on the show, put her away, enjoy our Friday nights, have some cocktails, and get ready to do our studying for the UFC on Saturday. It's going to be a big, big, big Saturday. We got a lot of sports. I think it's 150 college basketball games again. Pretty loaded NHL schedule. We've got the 2 NFL games. We've got, I think it's 13 fights now in the UFC. So, yeah, we're going to keep it moving. Brisk pace it is, baby. And you guys know the deal. It's the time of the show where I need your help. Look, we are listener supported. We are listener funded. Love you guys becoming members, sharing donations, super stickers, but more important than anything, just taking a second to hit the thumbs up button, promote the cause, let YouTube know we're here doing this thing. They'll share it with like-minded individuals. Those like-minded individuals are bettors. And the more bettors we can bring in here, the better our betting will be with sharp-minded individuals like ourselves. So just take a second to close the chat, hit the thumbs up, pop the chat back open, and we'll go to work. Okay. What do you say we get to business here? We got ourselves a big card. You know the deal. It's pen and paper out time. The best of the business assemble right here. We've all been working on this card all day long. Now it's time to see what we can put boots to the bookie's ass, make this money together. And you're going to want to take note of the trends, the angles, the analysis that comes out of this thing tonight because we got a full night of games. And please do take the time to put your best bets in the chat. Starting with commentator numero uno, 99.4. We'll give him 99.45%. We'll give him an extra 0.05% to his first comment categories here. He's giving us Indiana and Ohio State, and he's got the over 149.5. So Jover's giving us the over, J-O-F, as they call him in the streets, giving us the over. I'll give you guys a side. He's got the over. I got a side. We'll catch this puppy. Let's go. Jover, appreciate you, my guy. Redbeard's in the house. This isn't baseball season yet. Isn't it like 23 days or something like that for pitchers and catchers? Let's not go too fast. Let's not go too fast. I mean, I like some baseball. We can make some money in some baseball, but I like all these other sports too, man. We get to July and there's only baseball. It sucks. And soccer, of course, too. Of course, soccer. Joe Dubs in the house. T. Moss is here. Says he needs some winners need to turn the shitty week around bad. I agree. Just happy to plug. We were bleeding on Monday and Tuesday. We had a slow leak. We plugged it yesterday. Now it's time to get it back and move forward. See if we can't have another big winning week here. And this is the opportunity for it. Joe T agrees with Redbeard about baseball. Rick J says cash the plus 750 Kings in-game parlay given in here yesterday. Shout out Rick J. Plus 750. Man. Yeah, it's getting tough, boys. Redbeard says he's been getting wrecked lately. Damon Waring says, good evening, Cappers. I need a few good picks tonight. I've been off by 1 to 2 picks on large parlays for weeks. Probably the large parlays is a challenge to that equation, right? 2 and 3-leggers have been pretty gold. We got a 3-legger tonight. Get that cash for us. Shout out to Jay Main. John C's in the house. David Wang says Ohio and Ohio State tonight. College basketball money line. And with the points tonight. And there was we won't stop. Can't stop. Won't stop, baby. Let's go. Gonzo's here ready to rock with us. Nicholas Handy. We won't stop, says Mikey. Almost made 2K. That Kings game screwed me for a few bets. Yeah. Well, the under did not cash, right? That's the problem. That's the problem that we had. Still 3-1, right? 3-1 wasn't a bad day in the NHL. Jay Main says Broad Street bully play came through. Wish I had kahunas to take Temple money line. Barry Roselle's in the house. You guys are catching up on the zips. We won't stop at the Clippers parlay. Love it. Love it. Patrick the Groovy Alien says TGIF Sports Money. Swizz is in the house. Peter Gracia is here ready to rock with us. KD says NCAA basketball hold. Notes DePaul plus 8. Series decided by 1 point. 3, 4, 7, 3 points. Iowa plus 7. They were in California. UCLA, lots of travel from East Coast and mind elsewhere. I don't disagree with the travel, clearly, but I think they're used to it now. Not used to it, but I think that they're working with, not mentalists, but I think they're working with some folks to be able to address that component. It's only going to get worse as their seasons go on, especially with like a USC moving into the Big Ten and such. They're going to get used to it, but I agree. It's going to be a factor on their minds today, for sure. Redbeard says Magic plus 15 and under 214. Robert McCormick says, good evening. Stop geoengineers in the house. There's Andrew G. Says, what up? Breaking news. It's supposed to snow for the Eagles game versus the Rams. So glad you brought that up. So glad you brought that up. I'm trying to pull it up. Hang on. Let's see. Where'd it go? Dome teams coming to Philly in the Eagles playoff history when there are some elements 1 and 6. In fact, Matt Stafford 1 and 8 with a 54.6% completion percentage when he's out there in the elements. Going to be fun to see if that game does in fact get those elements. Can't wait. 1 and 8 rain or snow games. 1 and 8 when the temperature is under 35 degrees. He's fine. He's 5-1-1. He's averaging 263 yards per game. He's got 14 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. But when you add the rain or snow, he is not good to go. He goes to 1 and 8. So there's a little sneak peek for you guys. I saw that. I wanted to add that in there with you guys. Let's go. Redbeard says Jazz and the under. A lot of points, man, for New Orleans. New Orleans has no business laying that kind of lumber, even at home. Come on. What's going on? Let's go. Made him Phillies in the house. Says we gonna F them Rams up. You know we are. You know. Case J says, man, let's have a night. We're due for a big one. I agree. We've been grinding. We're grinders. That's what happens here. We check in. We punch in every day. No days off. Damon Warren says, I like DePaul with the points against Georgetown. And away we go. Nasty Nate says Celtics smash. Subhumans in the house. Jay Main says Indy may cover. Groovy Alien says DePaul, no, don't do that. Breaking news from Ramon Scott. Big Dodger signing. Roki Suzuki? Are you making that name up, Ramon? That sounds made up. Chase J says DePaul getting insane love. Wow. All right, let's get to work. You guys are dropping some plays out there. I want to get you guys on at least what I think is the right page, or at least my page. How about that? But before we do, Jesus, it's super important to shout him out, my man. Old E. 5 gifted memberships. Shout out to you, Old E. Brother, I'm going to raise this, but I will pour that when this show is over and get ready to cheers and celebrate you, my friend. Thank you, Old E. Woo! That's a way to kick this thing off. Bless our action. Build our community. 5 sports money members at a time. Interesting, this green screen. Appreciate you, Oldie. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. That means a lot. That really does. Not just you coming in here on a regular, hanging out with us, sharing your best bets, positive vibes, and helping build this community, but coming off some cold, hard cash and growing this thing by way of giving without any expectations of receiving. You're the kind of guy we want to be around, my friend. I appreciate you rocking with us and doing what you do. Shout out to Keith each and every stride. He was rocking with us last night. He was on the right side of that OKC disaster. Chase J's in the house. Sir Mackey loves pies here. Let's go. Dale Fick says, I wish my sportsbook would ban me for betting on Hawaii games late night. Andrew G says, wow, the Rams are cooked. Rams, Commanders, take it to the bank. No way. No way. I'm not entirely unconvinced it's not the Eagles and the Chiefs. Although I want to see the Bills get her done. So they got a big test ahead of them this weekend. Look, I know we got to get to the place tonight, but you got to tease the Bills and the Eagles again. We've been doing it all season. It's cashing. It's cashing. Been stashing from the cashing. Ready to keep building this thing. So let's go. Jones is in the house as well. Like to see him in here. Damon Wank says, I love the positive energy tonight. Me too, you guys. We're all ready to go. We've all had a week. We're in the dog days of winter. But we have a lot of sports to get us through it. So let's get ready for this action tonight. Let's pop right into this card here. We'll move briskly and get you guys going with your Friday nights. And again, we're going to circle back tomorrow. We're going to do the old regroup as we fire away on those bookies for the big Saturday night live show. It's going to start about 5:30. About 5:30. So get ready, get set. We'll see how the cancellation affects the card. I would suspect they've got to move one more event into the main event for the pay-per-view action. And that'll still start on time. So realistically, it probably means that's a 6:30 pay-per-view start or ESPN Plus start for the first fight, not 6 o'clock or 6:15. So we'll see. But what we don't have to see is where we're going tonight. We know the path to get this victory, and we're going to do just that. And we're going to pop off. There's only 2 games in the NHL. Only a 2 spot. I should have mentioned it the other day because I wrote it down and I skipped it, but the Penguins trying to figure out this goaltending situation have effectively shit-canned Tristan Jarry. Yeah. And he's so bad nobody wanted him. He cleared waivers. He's on his way to Wilkes-Barre. Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, to be their goaltender. So that's what they thought of him. And they've got Alex Nedeljkovic going in goal at 7-7-4. And he's bag of shit status. He's got a 3.4 goals against average, and he's 88.6% save percentage. Somehow, Tristan Jarry lost, and he won. It's got to strictly be age-related, I would think, in this case, because, man, this dude stinks. He allowed 5 goals on 17 shots his last game. That was a 5-0 shutout loss to the Senators. And he stinks. Did I say he stinks? Because he stinks. And the Penguins, look, kind of, sort of, struggling. They've been outscored 14-4, and they're on an 0-3 losing streak. Penguins. Sabres. Pekka Luukkonen, 14-13-4, 2.99 goals against average, 89.8% save percentage. Buffalo Stinks. They got to get their shit together. It's tough. It's embarrassing. And they're not making any moves this year. They're not making any plans to do just that. So realistically, hang on a sec. Anyhow, Luukkonen goes back in goal for the 5th straight game. Anyhow, Luukkonen coming in pretty hot, 35 of 37 shots, 4-2 win over the Carolina Hurricanes. And look, how about this? He's 6-2-1. He's got a little trend going on his own when it comes to the Sabre side of things here. Real short, sweet. We'll keep this thing quick. We'll keep her moving. We got a bunch of things to do tonight, so let's just let's fire this. Oh shit! Oh no, I got it. I got it. I was looking. I'm like, wait, these don't look like the place. They are the place. Buffalo and the over 6 was the spot that I decided to hammer on here. Couple thoughts that we had going on. First of all, how about this? They got an opportunity out there, and it's on FanDuel right now, so you can check this out. I did sprinkle a couple dollars on this myself. Goal in the first 10 minutes. Now, I don't like to play first periods and first quarters and shit like that. No, it's not my forte. But Buffalo's 15-2 to the goal in the first 10 minutes when they're at home. Pittsburgh's 24-8 in their last 32 to the goal in the first 10 minutes, and it's juiced. It's minus 150 at FanDuel. It's minus 165 at DraftKings, and it only goes on up across the pike. We've got a nice little over situation going when you've got two teams that miss the playoffs playing on a Friday night. They go over. They score. We see pucks flying in the net. Furthermore, when the Penguins are in the underdog role, remember this one. They're a dog for a reason. They're 24-10. If you're fading them boys, that means you get on the Sabres. Now, you can get cute, or you don't have to get cute. You can just play the Sabres. Go get it. I opted for the big score. I thought this was a good opportunity for us to make some of that cash back. Low risk, high return, in my estimation, as this thing breaks down here. And now we've seen the 6 has moved to 6.5. So bear that in mind as we roll through this thing. But I like Buffalo in the over 6 to get us started. If you can only get 6.5, I would probably just play the Sabres. Because the hook's a big factor. If it's a 4-2 game and the Sabres win, we're still going to cash at minus 115. It's just a 6 if we can get to 7. And we're seeing that the challenge that I see here is that Pittsburgh getting outscored in a significant process. So bear that in mind. Keep for that what you will. Make of that what you will. But that's how I'm getting paid on this first game of the evening. And we'll roll on. We've only got one more left in the NHL, so let's talk about it. Let's get to it. We've got ourselves Vegas and Carolina. Goaltending-wise here, Adin Hill will start for Vegas, 18-7-2. He's got 2.54 goals against average and a 90.4% save percentage. Kochetkov will go on the other side for Carolina. I mean, he's almost identical, 16-9-2. A 2.54 goals against average is exactly the same as Adin Hill. And 90.4% for Vegas, 90.1% for Kochetkov and Carolina in terms of save percentage. Big deal. Frederik Andersen will be back. They activated him from the injured reserve. But not going in there just yet. Kochkov's last game, he allowed 3 goals on 20 shots. It was a 3-2 loss. They're not scoring. The scoring is low. And you know my feeling and philosophy when it comes to Carolina. They are the capital of the under on the East Coast. 3 cities that we really like our unders. 1, Carolina. 2, Dallas. 3, St. Louis. And that's how I'm going to choose to attack this one here tonight. I got the under 6 in this Vegas-Carolina game here. I think ultimately, I understand why you would back Vegas. when you look at what's going on from a Carolina perspective right now, but they have lost 3 of their last 4. They're 1-3. They're a dog for a reason. It's Friday night. You're going into Carolina where the scoring is going to be tightened up. Kochetkov should have a little feeling of relief because he doesn't have to put so much pressure on himself that, oh my God, what's going to happen? He's got Frederick Anderson coming back. That should relieve him a little bit of having to go out there and do too much. The team should be able to rally behind this guy and move forward. And I think they will do just that here. He is 16-9-2. And again, goaltender for goaltender. I get it. If we just play the stat for stat, team A versus team B, yeah, it says that you should take the Vegas Golden Knights. But you didn't take them earlier at plus 145, and now you're sitting at plus 124. I think you missed a boat. Still plus money. I don't trust it. I think there's a reason Carolina's coming into this thing as the big favorite that they are. Art and science. That's more art than science for me behind that thing. I just think there's that opportunity here where it's not that easy. It's not that they're not just giving out that free money like everybody might think they are. So God bless you. If you're going to be on Vegas, good luck to you. I'll root for you. I'm just rooting for no goals. Give me no goals, and let's see what happens out there. Chase says, yes, Jimmy's playing. I'm assuming you're talking about Jimmy Butler. Appreciate that. Where are the... That's right. Damon Waring says it. Where are the likes? Show is popping. One of the best shows moving. I appreciate you, Damon. Thank you for saying that. What are you guys doing? Smash that thumbs up button for us. That's all we ask. Just a quick show of appreciation. I appreciate you guys taking that time to do just that. Nasty Nate says only 43 likes. Come on, guys. We got 100 people rocking on this thing on a regular basis here. 150 plus views already. All we need is one thumbs up. That's it. Just take a second to do it. No one's going to know. No one's going to know. You don't go in a list. They aggregate us. It goes into the metrics, into the space. They say, oh, there's a bunch of likes coming from this kind of show. Let's go find people that might like this kind of show. That's how it helps. Okay. Barry says he sees 77 likes. Okay. Nasty Nate's asking what fight got canceled. The initial Moicano battle has been canceled. Moicano will be fighting. It was Sarukian that had cauliflower ear and a bad back. He is now Makhachev's going to fight Moicano for the championship at plus 675 moneyline dog for Moicano. And I forgot who was he supposed to fight. Dariush. Big old Benny Dariush has been scrapped. They've canceled that bout. That is what it is. That's what it is. I'll tell you what. I wouldn't mind a plus 675. I don't know. Nasty Nate says, my boy Moicano stepped in. Yeah. But that means they canceled. Good job, Jared Bush. Now let's talk about tonight's plays. What do you got for us? Can't do anything. Here he goes. He's got something for us tomorrow. Noah Gray over 40 yards receiving at plus 250. Sir Mackey got us going on to the Vucevic under 1.5 threes. Noah Gray. I like the Noah Gray play, Jared. I like that. Sir Mackey says Trey Murphy Pelicans under 3.5 threes. Okay. Redbeard says start exposing the non-likers. I'll tell you what. I found a troll. Yeah. I put some research to the table and they shit when they found out that I knew that they were trolling. So it's always fun to do that. Notify their parents and everything else that goes along with it. Call their employer. The whole likes. You know the deal. That troll stopped. Anyways, let's go on. Let's talk about some NBA action here. We've got to keep her moving, you guys. Keep a brisk pace here, Charlotte. The Bulls. Man, I'll tell you what, I was surprised at a couple of stats that I found when I was looking at there we go. Jared Bush likes Tutu. I like that Tutu at well spot too, man. I've been feeling like he is due to make some things happen for sure. All right. So the NBA, we don't spend a lot of time looking at the cash flow and the money splits when it comes to the NHL. Sometimes a little litmus test for us or a little weather vane situation. Which way is the wind blowing? But we will look at this for the NBA. Public bet sport as it is. We want to see how the books are reacting to this thing here. And this line opened up at 4.5. It's moved to 5.5 in some spots. So this is a shop around, depending on the side you want to be involved with here. 69% of the bets and 67% of the cash are on the Bulls. It has moved that point. And the total's been kind of oscillating. 235. It's gone up as high as 236. There's some 234.5s out there. You have 61% of the bets and 57% of the cash on the over. Now, Hornets, 9-28, stink. No question about it. Now, the big issue that they've been dealing with, though, was some injuries. They had the ball factor and what was going on out there. Mark Williams is probable tonight. That's a big deal. And we'll talk about why in just a second. But as a probable dude, my fingers have been taking a savage beating. I got another busted nail. I got another fucking hit myself with a cheese grater. Man, it's been struggling with my fingers today. This week, altogether. Thing's bleeding. You got a bleeder. Got a bleeder. All right, we'll just do that. That's got to be sanitary, right? Dirty piece of paper. Sure, off my clipboard. Why not? All right, so Mark Williams is probable for the Charlotte Hornets. Grant Williams will be out. Trey Mann will be out. Still kind of the same deal, right? They've still been kind of battling around the same bullshit. And we got a bunch of guys coming probable. Kobe White, probable. We've got Josh Giddey, probable. Torrey Craig is out. Horton Tucker's out. Sonego's out. But it looks like everybody else is going to be in and rolling. And that's going to kind of be their core of what they've been dealing with here all along. Again, Levine, Voos, Giddey, all ready to roll. Flip side of things for the Hornets, ball's back and rolling. And Mark Williams is the big factor. He's the big X factor out there from a rebounding perspective. I'm going to tell you this. Need Mark Williams to be playing. And I expect he will. He's a quality, competent shooter. Bust out about 66%. The guy's definitely not bad. But we need his rebounds, and I'll tell you why. What we have is the Bulls 1-4 in their last 5 games and 1-4 against the spread. The only win that they got was busting up the Wizards, 138-105. And they've been at home. 5 straight home games. Did you know? There's such a thing here. We talked about how hard it is to get past the 3 mark. How about the 5 mark? If you fade teams on their 5th home game, 236 and 136. That's a real thing. Who would have thought? 5 straight home games, you get a little complacent, get a little comfortable. All of a sudden, the home cooking's a real good situation out there. And you get just that complacency leads to a 236 and 136 fade record. We're not going to entirely embrace that trend here tonight, though, because on the same side of things, when you look at kind of what the Hornets have been doing, it's not a team that I'm entirely in love with. And obviously, their record stinks to begin with, but again, injury factors, and they're starting to get their players back. So there's definitely some merit there, but the big deal is they just beat Utah. They're also on a hell of a road trip since the start of the year. This will be their 5th road game out of the last 6. They had 1 stint back home against the Phoenix Suns. But they are coming off a win at Utah. We knew Utah, shit team, especially at home. They have no home court advantage. And we've got the loss for the Bulls. Bounce back revenge, not so much revenge, but bounce back opportunity. And this is where I was surprised. The Bulls, specifically against was it the Hornets that I saw? Let me check. Hang on, bear with me. I didn't write this down properly. It's my fault. I didn't write this down properly. Bulls versus the Hornets. The Bulls have dominated the Hornets. They're 8-0 straight up. They're 8-0 against the spread. And they are 2-6 to the under. Furthermore, there's a 62% win rate for the Bulls at home after a loss. That's another spot that we talked about. So now we got this kind of quandary. We got a fade spot with a team that's had their 5th straight home game. But we got a team that's been dominating the other team. The home team is coming off a loss. The road team's coming off the win. How do we attack it? I thought the most prudent way to do this was to change gears with our Vucevic side. We talked about it the other day. You got to take notes. You got to learn from those opportunities, and that's exactly what I think we do here. We're going to do a same game parlay. We got the under 236. That was a minus 108 price tag. We've got the Bulls on the money line. Now, we know the 8-0 spread. We know the 8, but it's the 5th game factor. So take the points off the table. Just win, especially now that it's 5.5. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Hornets backdoor cover that thing. But Voos, not threes, rebounds. I talked to you guys about this the other day. I said it might be time to start thinking about the rebounds. And guess what? Dude was a top 10 rebounder last season. His career average is a double-double. And so the guy's out there banging rebounds, and he called himself out. He said he was embarrassed that he only had 7 rebounds 3 games ago. And what has he done since? He's gone 15 and 16. And the reason I said that we need Williams in there is because Williams is a pretty prolific rebounder himself. He's averaging almost, 9 a game? We need that for the score to be low. We don't want to get these offenses with second chance opportunities, but I think we pivot. We move away from the 1.5 threes, and we look to take this 10.5 on the rebounds, and we take the same game parlay and we take it to the bank. That's how I want to get paid in this game. A little fun action here to try to make a big score on a small investment, and the numbers statistically make sense. So that was where I wanted to pull those pieces together. Over 10.5 rebounds. Is essentially the same thing as 11 plus. But when you're doing same game parlays, especially at DraftKings as an example, take a look. Sometimes the 11 plus, I've noticed it's got an extra nickel on it than the over 10.5. So it's the same thing. It's just that one has a less price advantage, if that makes sense. That makes sense. Jay Main says the under on the threes. I'm not against that. I just wanted you guys to know kind of the situation and the spots out there. And this guy's pissed off about his rebounding numbers here. We have seen it. We talked about it. He's kind of cycled away from being that 3-point shooting guy now to being the rebounding guy. And I think we're going to go with that. So the total I got was 236, Silent Rob. The Bulls money line, the under 236, and Voos over 10.5 rebounds is plus 432. That's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see that. I love having a little same game parlay action, especially just a little tight slip on that thing here. Let's see if we can do that again. The NBA has been a fickle mistress for us here. And hey, if we're going to take a swing, let's not just take a -5. Let's go for something big. Let's go for it. Let's see if we can't cash that shit and make some money. And we'll move on to Denver and Miami. Here's another spot that I was incredibly surprised. And as it works out, you guys had talked about it, we do have Jimmy Buckets coming back. What happens when the star player comes into the game? What do? We fade their asses is what we do. Maybe the next game, different story. The Heat at home. Wait, what a strange spot. This line opened at 3.5. It's dropped to 2.5. It's dropped to 1s now. We have 86% of the bets and 86% of the cash on the Nuggets. We have no movement on the total. Oh, I'm sorry. I take that back. We have 2 points of movement. That's kind of it's a big difference. 224.5 has gone to 226.5 with 80% of the bets and 78% of the cash on the over. And then because we're in that 1 point land, let's take a look at what the money line's doing. Well, they were big favorites at -142 in the Miami Heat. 47% of the bets, but 89% of the cash. One of the biggest differentials from a sharp betting perspective of the night landed in on the Nuggets. 47% of the bets, but 89% of the cash. And that made him go from a +120 to a -104. So clearly, there's no belief here from sharp, respected bettors that the Miami Heat are going to go out there and figure it out. Now, Bam Adebayo probably goes out there and figures it out. There's no question about that. But look, I kind of feel like Denver's certainly turned some things around, and they're not afraid to go on the road and bust teams up. You know, they're 4-1 in their last 5. They did just lose to Houston. So I would imagine we're sitting there with a pretty little bounce back spot. That was at home. They were getting 5.5 points. I believe it was because Joker was out. They busted up Dallas. They busted up Dallas twice in Dallas. No travel in between. They busted up Brooklyn. They busted up the Clippers. Bust them up, bust them up, bust them up. And then we've got the Miami Heat. Now look, where's the hardest place to play after a lengthy road trip? The first game back home. On the road against Golden State, they won. They did beat Utah on the road. They did beat Portland on the road. 3 straight road games. But then guess what? The Clippers on the road, they lost. The Lakers on the road, they lost. And now they're coming back home. The spot that surprised me the most, when Denver was in the dog spot against the Heat, they're 4-1. They're also 4-1 to the over. When Denver's in the road dog position, they're 3-0 against the Heat. So they don't care if they go into Miami as a dog. They're 16-2 in their last 18 games straight up, regardless of where they're playing when they play Miami. This is a situation where one team has dominated the other team, and they're starting to catch their groove, and they want to bounce back after a bad loss here. I love the spot here with this Denver Nuggets team. Now they're a little pricey. Now they're getting up there to the minus 130s. So do shop around. This number's probably come back now, I would imagine. Let me look. I'd imagine now that Buckets is officially going. Oh no, it's Jimmy Butler's playing. Did you know Jimmy Butler's playing? Stop it. Stop it. It doesn't matter. The number's actually gone up after they ruled in Jimmy Butler. That's what they think of Jimmy Butler. There you go. Put that one in your cap. Jimmy Butler. The line's gone up after they announced Jimmy Butler's coming in. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm on the Nuggets. Give me the Nuggets. Give me this cash. Lingo Wicks says 2 teams who win by less than 2 often tease it up by another play are his thoughts. I'm discreet. You know, we talked about this last night. The 2 means the books don't know what the hell's going to happen. And what we saw was, well, you didn't want to have a dog ticket. But Jay Main says Butler played a lot of those other games. Yeah, he doesn't want to play there, though. You know what? And I would imagine when he comes back and he's got teams that his boys don't want to play, get him out of there. That's probably what they're thinking is get him out of there. But I like Denver. I'll take the Nuggets. We'll take the Nuggets. We'll move on. Let's keep her going. We got some games to get to here. 4 more games to go on the slate, 2 NBA, and then we'll finish her off with 2 in college hoops. And we got OKC and Dallas rolling in, and OKC off the bludgeoning last night. Of course, OKC had themselves that 15-game winning streak going before they lost to Cleveland. They bounced back, and they've been rallying. They opened as 6-point road favorites to the Dallas Mavericks. It's gone now to 7.5, and even seeing 8s. 75% of the bets and 80% of the cash are on the Thunder. It's moved to correlated. It's got a 2-point move, 1.5 to 2 points. And the total's catching steam on the over. 88% of the bets and 89% of the cash are on the over. It's gone from 221 to 225.5. So it is moving. It is moving on up. And again, we just talked about yesterday's game. I mean, that's, my player props for sure. Just on the wrong side. Now, despite the over trend here, the over movement, I was thinking this is the under spot. And I think it's SGA that does lead this thing to a little bit more of the under. Dallas has gone under in 3 of their last 5 games. They're on a 3-game losing streak. They went back-to-back at home against Denver, though. They got busted up twice. They went to the Pelicans. And they lost to the Pelicans. It's bad. And the Thunder, after that loss, they got the 2x4 across the face with that Cleveland game. After that Cleveland game, they've come back. They've rallied. And on the road, which is even more impressive. The Knicks, 126-101. The Wizards, 136-95. The Sixers, 118-102. That was the game where they were laying 13s. And then they go back and they take Cleveland down at home. Now, you could argue this is that shit little schedule spot. I don't disagree. The 1 game back at home for Cleveland. But the difference in this spot is they weren't going to sleep for Cleveland. They wanted the quick, immediate revenge spot. And they got it. And now I think they're fired up and they are attacking everybody out there with reckless abandon out there. And they're in a 13-0 spot, straight up and against the spread when they shot at least 47% the previous game. So despite the travel and then coming back home, going back on the road, 13-0 against the spread and 13-0 straight up. This team's just running hot. They clearly busted up Cleveland yesterday. Either Cleveland didn't care, underestimated them, or I'm going to probably say didn't care. Not that they didn't care, but they had already gotten that win, right? And we know that they kind of tend to split, especially in those quick revenge spots back at home. Back at home, especially on top of all of that. So all of that put together leads me to dropping the number. There's a reason that it's 7.5. And I'm buying into it. I'm taking the Thunder. I like this to be a lower scoring game, though. I almost wanted to jump in there with the under. I like, if I was going to same game parlay this, it would be OKC first half, OKC full game, the full game under, and Dallas team total under. And then I would slap in SGA's points under. I know SGA critical for the OKC team to win, and he fired up last night, but I think he passes the ball around a little bit more and gives a little exposure to the rest of the squad tonight. So I'm going to take OKC. I'm going to drop the 7.5, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. Now, the last game on the NBA docket, I'm interested in. I really like Memphis, by the way, too. I just couldn't pull the trigger. We got a little reverse line movement on that Memphis side of things here. It looks like some action is pouring in on the Spurs now, some late money, but kind of like Memphis. I couldn't pull the trigger on it. But we got the Nets and the Lakers, the late night special, the 10:30 slot, and a big steamy number of minus 11.5 for the Lakers. That has come down to 11. 76% of the bets and 78% of the cash are on the Lakers. And it's dropped a half a point. Reverse line movement? Yeah. 219.5's dropped to 217 with 91% of the bets and 90% of the cash. And the question I got to ask you, do you trust the Lakers to win by 12? That's what's got to happen here. They've been playing home games. This is their third straight home game. They lost to the Spurs, 126-102. They beat Miami, where nobody wants to play, 117-108. The thing I was looking at is this Nets game. 67 points against the Clippers. And they're at the same venue, same location. Actually, they're not. I'm sorry. They're in the same city, though. I think you got to look at this thing and think, if you're the Nets, you're sitting around, you just put up a 67 spot. It was embarrassing. It's embarrassing. That's what they should have had in one half of basketball. They did it the full game. Now, I'll tell you this, the respected sharp bettor action popped in on the Nets. All that reverse line movement, and yet it come down a half a point because they do believe this is too many points for the Lakers, as do I. Yeah, do the boys ball out? Probably. Should the Nets want to fire back after sitting around for 48 hours just thinking about how they embarrassed themselves out there? Yeah. Nasty Nate says, it's the late night special. Let's go. Textas says, last year, Nets were an 8-point dog and got the outright win almost a year to the day. I don't not like them to win this. I mean, 67 points. You got to be pretty downright disgusted. And what's Juggler got to say? Juggler says DraftKings holding the 8.5 on the Chiefs and the Lions. Most books are at 9 to stop the teaser betting. Yeah. Yup. Huh. Interesting. Deal him in. He likes the Chiefs and the Lions. Teaser. That's a great point. The 2.5 versus the 3, right? So with the teasers and you're getting the 6 points, what Juggler's saying there is a lot of books have moved to the 9 because they know teasers have been cashing on stuff. We've been talking about teasers for 2 months now, feels like. And they've been cashing like crazy. So they don't want to give you that key number of the 3. And so he's saying it's important to look at DraftKings because they've got the 8.5s. So DraftKings with the 8.5s makes it 2.5. That gets you below that key number of the 3. It's a strategic-minded individual. Appreciate you, Juggler. Textiles giving us that number for the Nets. And that's the says, shine your ever-loving light on me. Billy Briz! That's player's perspective. If I flew into LA for the one time we played there, I'm slanging as much shit as I can. Texas says D'Lo's revenge spot out there. Fernando says, you're killing me, Mike. I took the Nets team total under. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, I mean, it could still be a lower scoring game. I just think, yeah, I mean, Billy's kind of talking about it. If I flew into LA for the one time we played there, I'm slanging as much shit as I can. And I would go out there and want to bust up LeBron at the very least. Yeah, I don't know. Of course, we know they're dealing with the fires. Ramon Scott says Dallas, Irving, probable tonight. OKC. Let him play. we saw the line go up when Jimmy Butler was playing. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. All right, 2 college basketball games real quick here. We'll give you guys some of the lowdown. Where did my numbers go? It's a big night tonight. You know, I'm kind of feeling it now. Kind of starting to feel really good about what's happening here. And we got Ohio State opens up as 7.5-point home favorites. Slight 8s. But we kind of have a mixed bag here. I don't want to say pros versus Joes, but a little bit more of an inkling that the sharper bettors like the Ohio State side of things here. It's gone from 7.5 to 8. 43% of the bets, but 56% of the cash on the Ohio State spread. The total's gone up. It's gone from 148.5 to 151.5. That's a 3-point swing. 53% of the bets and 54% of the cash on the over. And this is a tricky one. 13-5 Indiana, 10-7 Ohio State, the Big Ten. And there's some things you need to know about the Big Ten, specifically when it comes to home court. And we'll talk about it in just a second. Overall, Ohio State's struggling. They're 2-3 in their last 5. They did just come off a Wisconsin game where they did cover. So we got paid in that Wisconsin spot. They lost 70-68, and they were getting a 6.5 pack. They've also played 3 of their last 5 games to the under. But really, that's, I think, more of a indication of competition. Now, they did have an Oregon game in there. They were laying 2.5 at home against Oregon. Now they're back home after going to Wisconsin. 2 of their last 3 games on the road, and not easy places to travel. They did go up into Minnesota. They beat them up 89-88, but they were laying a 5 spot, so they didn't cover. They come back home, they lose. Then they go into Wisconsin, they lose again. This team's taking L's. And so has Indiana in their last 2. They just got bludgeoned at home by Illinois, 94-69. They got run out of their own gym. And it wasn't any better when they were on the road. They were at Iowa. They lost 85-60. Now, the thing about the Big Ten that I told you guys you need to be concerned with here is those home team spots. Big Ten, especially if they're coming off the road. So you're at home and you're going on the road, and the team was on the road coming back home. Home cooking does them right in the Big Ten. It's 127-68 in those spots. And we're looking at this team going, we just got some L's here, and Ohio State can't figure it out, and we're laying 7.5. Yeah, we're laying 7.5. I think that's a good number on it. I don't trust this Indiana team. I see that they're 4-3 in the Big Ten, but man, we are getting to that time where these teams start to step up, and man, I just like an opportunity to take some Ohio State. Man, at 2-4 in the Big Ten, they're laying 7.5. It's because they're at home. Sometimes we have the key to the sportsbook algorithm, and it's telling us when Big Ten teams are at home, you should play on them more often than not. Billy Briz is giving some updates here. He says, watch Moicano's last fight he took on short notice, and you'll want to see why the line is minus 1,000. Now, I wonder, do you still consider it short? I mean, he was fighting. He was planning to fight anyways. So he was in a gym. He was in a camp. He just got his opponent changed. And it's not just any change. He's got a shot for the title. It's going to be a fun one. Hope he doesn't get busted up right away. I kind of like an inside the distance play, though, Billy. There's no props yet. Trying to lock in for the West Coast. The UFC switch up completely changed my entire Friday top to bottom. It did seem like we were talking back and forth earlier today, just a bunch of updates with this guy and that guy and the other guy. And man, who's going on and what? Sir Mackie Los Pais says Imzam will choke the life out of Moicano. I kind of think so. I kind of think so too. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. All right, last game for you guys in the college hoops arena. We got DePaul and Georgetown. Some of you guys were talking about this game, and I think some of you guys need to go fucking get a wellness check here. DePaul? You take DePaul? 0-7? Furthermore, you're not even getting DePaul at a good number. I know it's 9.5. It opened at 8.5. It's gone to 9.5. So there's some 8s. I guess you're going to shop around. 53% of the bets, but 62% of the cash have moved it on Georgetown. The total started at 140.5. It's gone nowhere. It's got 62% of the bets and 64% of the cash on the over. Dogs and overs, and we're not seeing any movement. Georgetown's 12-5, obviously firing away. The thing that I'm looking at for this is you're taking a shit DePaul team and you're buying them at the absolute worst scenario. They just covered against they almost won against Marquette. Back-to-back home games. Prior to that, they were getting pieced by everybody. Xavier, 77-63. Seton Hall, 85-80. Villanova, double them up 100-56. And all of a sudden, everyone sees that Marquette game and they're going, oh. Now you also got 3 straight losses for Georgetown. And we talked about it. It's so difficult to get past that 3 of anything, 3 wins or 3 losses. They had St. Joe's. They're coming back home. They played a decent game against UConn. They just didn't cover at the end. They lost to Marquette 74-66. Sure, I get that. They haven't really blown anybody out yet. And I kind of think this is that coming out party. When you look at these two teams, you know, they've got the home advantage. Against the spread, DePaul has not covered a spread on the road yet. And the market's coming in there going, oh, man, did you see what they just did? They're back. They're not back. They just got new coaches this year. They brought in some new players. They're still working to just establish their identity, and they're going to have to get blown out of a few gyms before they actually get that piece of it together. We got an under team in Georgetown. Their last 10 games have gone under. And they're home. They're going to be confident. They're going to be possessing the ball. Furthermore, DePaul's 0-10 against teams that have gone under in consecutive meetings. That means that when teams come out there and they have their shit together and they're shoring up and stopping baskets from going in, playing that methodical basketball, when DePaul comes into town, they're just a bunch of jokes. So you got a team that goes under, and you got a team that doesn't play well when they're going under, and you're buying at the absolute worst time on a DePaul team. I'm going to take some Georgetown. That's how confident and passionate I am about that spot. You can't take it. This could be the wrong play entirely, but you can't take DePaul after that big win against That number's this. Oh man, stop it! Don't get me going. Don't get me going. This is one of those spots you got to get involved here. And Damon Waring says, wellness check. It's the absolute worst time to take DePaul. Oh, that almost upset against Marquette. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. We know we'll be back to talk about it tomorrow. I'll let you guys, win, lose, or draw. We'll talk about them all tomorrow to get it done. AOD says, who the fuck is DePaul? That's what I'm saying, man. Listen, don't. You got to make your own decisions here. I'm just trying to share with you guys what I'm invested in tonight. And that's the deal. We're 7 o'clock on the dot. I wish you guys the best on your Friday. I'm going to go get myself a cocktail. I'm going to get this thing fired up. Karl Anthony Towns is officially out tonight. And it don't matter. He was out the other night. It still didn't matter. So go get that money. Appreciate all you guys rocking. Damon Waring, AOD, Peter Gracia, Sir Mackie Loves Pies. Shout out to my guy, Billy Briz. So nice to see him rocking here. Wish him a big UFC Saturday. Chase J, Textiles. Appreciate you. Kelly V's in the house. Let's go, you guys. Barry. Make sure you guys do hit that thumbs up on the way out the door. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for more. Check my guy out. The Morning Steam with Ramon Scott at 9 a.m. On behalf of Sports Money, hope you guys have a glorious Friday. Get that bag, baby. And we'll see you.